Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the Kicks and Picks podcast. You guys see him on your screen. We got a very special guest today filling in for us. Scotty on a work trip, Coach Steve on daddy duties. So, my boy Dom coming through to talk some shit with me here this week. Dom, what is happening, brother? Welcome to the show. Thank you for making the time.
How's it going, Nick? Thanks for having me on board, man. Looking forward to this. My first time here, so I don't know too much about betting, but we could talk about soccer all day.
Listen, brother, we're going to hop on, run through the Serie A. What the fuck is going on so far this year? Maybe talk a little shit about Juve if the opportunity presents itself, but we got a lot to talk about, brother. So appreciate you coming on. Napoli having quite the season, in an absolute battle right now for the Scudetto, which we will get into. But first off, just because it's fresh in our minds, I want to talk quickly about the Champions League. We are on to the semifinals after today. Arsenal will be taking on PSG. Barcelona will be taking on Inter. Inter with what people are saying is a big upset of Bayern Munich. I don't know that I necessarily subscribe to that underdog narrative because Inter has done it all year. They've been here before. And you're facing a Bayern team with a brand new coach who, credit to them. They're doing well. Company did a good job getting them that far. And Arsenal just taking care of business over two legs over Real Madrid. I think if you want to talk about an upset, that's the one for me. Full credit to Arsenal. They've managed to figure it out, man, and get goal contributions from a lot of places. So kick it off with your thoughts on the four remaining teams on the Champions League. Have you liked the new format? What do you think?
So on the format, I mean, what transpired to what we're looking at in the quarterfinal, the knockout stages, the quarterfinals, and now entering the semis. I mean, it looks like the same. It's mostly the same teams. You know what I mean? My team. Personally, my team wasn't on the in the Champions League, so I can't I can't tell you how it felt. But from what I'm seeing, it seems that it's the same teams that are making it. So it seems like the format really much didn't change much at all.
Yeah, I think that's fair, bro. I'll say I like the group, the way they did the group, where it was kind of random. It was more of a table than that group stage. So over 8 games, you have to imagine the best teams tend to progress. I think that's pretty much true. But yeah, we saw a Liverpool team, who was dominating. I don't think they lost a game in the group. Make it to the knockouts, couldn't get it done. We saw Atletico Madrid hard fought, couldn't get over the hump. Manchester City, everybody's favorite. We know the kind of season that they're having. Couldn't figure it out. And then, unfortunately, the Italian teams really couldn't make the most of it. Atalanta with a pretty favorable draw. If you remember, they had Club Brugge out of Belgium. People were hopeful for them, and that's right around the time their season started to collapse. So definitely interesting. But for my money, man, Arsenal, I have to give them credit, and I'm no Arsenal fan by any stretch of the imagination. But for them to go put up 5 goals on Real Madrid over 2 legs, that's something that, they deserve a little bit of praise and recognition for that.
Almost that. Arsenal looks like they're on another wave right now. You know what I mean? Especially what they did to Real Madrid. They basically had it in the bag, and even in this leg, people were expecting kind of sort of maybe Madrid coming back because royalty club, right? Especially in this tournament. But
2-time defending champs.
Yeah. Arsenal did not give him a shot. And I didn't really watch that game too much. I was more looking at the Inter against Bayern game, but I saw a couple of highlights, especially with that penalty that they were going to give Madrid, and then they reversed it and got for VAR, yeah, it's good to see Arsenal in there and Madrid packing and going home. I mean, we see them every year this time.
Yeah, no. I think that's fair. We're in for a change. Listen, these are teams that some teams, Barca and Inter, they've been here before. They're winners within, the past 10, 15 years. Arsenal and PSG both looking for that first title. So that'll be an interesting matchup. You mentioned Inter. What'd you make of their performance over two legs, man? Like I said, I heard the underdog narrative a lot. I can tell you from a betting standpoint, they were a betting underdog. Bayern were favorites in both of those legs. Inter, in my opinion, they played old school Italian football. They did what they needed to do. They absorbed the pressure. I think Sommer bailed them out a couple times. I think they had a little bit of luck on their side over the course of two legs, but deadly on the counterattack, took their goals, took their chances. I don't know. You don't score 4 goals on Bayern Munich by accident either. So for my money, Inter deserves a little bit of credit as well.
Most def. Bayern, I had Inter winning. I had Inter winning these quarterfinals, and I had them advancing. And the reason why is because Bayern, they're kind of on the defensive end, they're kind of weak. The last time they had a clean sheet was in February, and Kim is just not the same Kim. Like the goal today, that corner, that was completely on Kim. I've never seen him fall asleep. He made a challenge, got a yellow card on Thuram, so he seems like, I don't know what's going on, unless he, when he jumped on the plane from Napoli over to Bayern, he left that piece of luggage with his talent in it. But to be honest, this is not the same Kim that we saw at Napoli. And they're saying that reports are saying that he's dealing with an Achilles, like some type of Achilles injury. And then the stacked schedule and all the flight miles, but still, I'm not buying it. Like I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's mentally, or maybe it's just the switch from Serie A to over there. I don't know what's going on with him, but he seems kind of lost, and he seems like he's having these mental collapses. What I saw from Inter, a great response. Like Bayern scored, and then boom, Inter just hit him back. No fear. No. And that's what you need in this tournament, especially this deep end. You need to show up, and they did. So I feel Inter, they gotta, Barcelona, their strengths are gonna hurt Inter, but I think Inter are gonna give them a fight. I have no prediction for that. I really don't, but I think it's gonna be a close showdown between the two. And this underdog thing, yeah, we're already used. We're Napoli fans. We're already used to that, bro. They've been calling the underdog card since the beginning. They're still saying, they're still calling the underdog card, but hey, they're going to the semifinals and champions. Like, okay.
No question, dude. And here's what I'm trying to get at, man. I'm almost wondering if this, I don't want to call it a lie. I mean, I personally want to call it a lie. I don't know if it's fair to call it that out loud. This lie of like, stack your midfield with 3, 4, 5 wingers, all attacking players, and that's the way you have to play, and that's the path forward. Well, I don't know, man. That's kind of what Bayern does. It's not a balanced team, PSG, I guess, is kind of getting away with it right now, but it's like classic formations, classic tactics. Like they're classic for a reason. I don't know. Like is that fair to say? Like you're watching an Inter team do what they need to do with basically that same starting 11. And we're going to get into Serie A. I mean, Napoli's kind of doing it the same way, right? You got old school, do fucking everything you possibly can do midfielders. Might not have the most skill. You might not catch their highlights on Twitter or YouTube. They're not dribbling past 14 guys, but everybody knows what their capabilities are. Everybody knows the positions they're supposed to be in. And over the course of a season, dude, that shit works. Classic is classic. So it's going to be interesting to see because there's pretty much 3 high-flying attacking teams left in this Champions League, and then there's Inter. So we'll revisit it in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I see Inter as the most complete team. If their front attack, if their midfield shows up, and Lautaro and Thuram could show up, their back line is already good.
Yeah.
With PSG, you're seeing a massive front talented attack, but then on the back end, they're weak. They're shaky.
Same thing with Barca.
Same thing
Same
with
thing with
Barca.
Arsenal.
Yeah. So
So
I think Inter are, I'm not gonna lie. I think Inter have a good shot at making the finals and maybe doing something special and doing it on the field with Italian style football, with that. Because I wouldn't call Inzaghi style pragmatic and parking the bus.
right.
It's not that. It's a compact unit that they know how to defend. They know when to attack. They know when to back off, and it's just a complete team.
For sure. Now you put it well. And listen, they know the legs that they have, right? Like the limitations of these guys. DeMarco, that dude's a menace on the wing. You're going to get 65 minutes out of him. That's it. So he's going to be blazing out there back and forth, for those 65 minutes. Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, like these dudes play a lot of football this year. But they're not doing all this type of running that they don't need to do, right? There's like almost no wasted movements from these guys. You know what you're going to get out of them at this point, and they're maximizing it. And that's what's kind of impressive to me. I read a stat today. They only have trailed in 11 minutes the entire Champions League to this point. It's like they've played, I think, 1,100 minutes. They've trailed 11. Fucking insane. So
that's insane.
If they're getting a game where they're getting 2 goals out of their forwards, tough team to beat.
Yeah, most definitely. Inter also have an insane clean sheet record, man.
Yeah.
I think it's three goals in the last 11 matches. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's ridiculous up there, and don't they have like the best defense? Does that make them have the best defensive team in the remaining 4? I would assume so.
Definitely. 100%.
And that's what wins games, man. Even with those bright lights, even with those CL bright lights, bro.
Fact. All right, dude. Well, any other thoughts on the Champions League before we hop into some Serie A?
No, not really. I don't really got anything else. Can't talk about Napoli. So
listen, man, we're about to do that now. I want to get your thoughts in a very tightly contested Serie A. It's been a fucking awesome year. Listen, there's only one team can win, so everybody else kind of has to take an outside view, man. Enjoy it for what it is. We got a race at the top. Napoli and Inter separated by only 3 points. We got a relegation battle where like 6 teams are within 4 points of the drop. Top to bottom, we say this on our show every week where we go through the games. There's no easy outs. There's no easy predictions. I don't care if you're playing Torino. I don't care if you're playing Atalanta. I don't care if you're playing Monza. Anything could happen any week. We've seen that year in and year out, especially the last 4 or 5 seasons. But Napoli, incredible bounce back this year under Conte. Only playing 1 game a week, as you mentioned. That's a narrative that I hear over and over and over. I don't remember hearing it all that much when Juve were doing it 2 years ago. So just pointing that out, you got to play the schedule that's in front of you. And listen, the fact of the matter is Inter just has the deepest team, the biggest squad. They're competing on multiple fronts. You can't fault Napoli or anybody else for the schedule that they have. So I want your thoughts so far on the season Napoli's having, how Conte's doing. Has he met your expectations? It's just, I'll give my hot take from an outsider. It's been tough. I know the size of Napoli, and Napoli's a bigger team in Italy. They're, a top 5 on their worst day. They're not like Lazio is a smaller club right now. Like that's my team. Facts are facts. I'm not here to, hurt anybody's feelings, but Napoli can spend what they can spend. You have to get the most out of the players you have. You have to get the most out of the scouting that you do. You have to get the collective team to be where they are. Napoli's done that over the past 3, 4, 5 seasons. Knowing that it wasn't the most impressive transfer market in the summer, knowing that you got rid of arguably your most talented player in the January transfer window. What are you measuring success this year? Do you have to win the Scudetto, or are you happy with? I mean,
Put
is a
me on the
second place,
spot with
third
that,
place
but
finish? No,
you
just
put
I mean, I want the real thoughts, because I know as an outsider, if I swapped positions with you or Atalanta, I mean, hey, I'm happy. This is fucking awesome. My team doesn't spend a ton of money. I'm trying to come at it from a place that I'm familiar with. But you're a team that won a Scudetto 2 years ago, so maybe your expectations are a little bit higher. Maybe your floor is a little bit lower. So I just want your honest, brutal thoughts on everything Napoli. Take the mic, have at it.
Those are a lot of questions. So let me see if I can remember.
No. Just go.
All right. So Napoli, this season, what do I think about it? I mean, we were sitting in 10th place last season at this exact moment. So now we're contending for the Scudetto. That's a huge improvement for as a Napoli fan that watching the club do this. The club always has been saying all season the expectation was to make top 4. That's a realistic expectation, and I think everyone would agree that if we were sitting right now in 3rd place, if we were sitting where Atalanta is sitting right now, we wouldn't be talking about, if we don't win the Scudetto, it's a failure or any of that. It would still be a vast improvement from moving from 10th all the way to 3rd, even 3rd place. Let's just say.
Yep.
When it comes to the Scudetto itself, if we do not win the Scudetto, me personally, obviously it would be a bummer because we had it within grasp. But to me, it's not a failure at all, because when I look at this Napoli squad and I look at our bench and I see the players that left, his name that is prohibited to be mentioned, losing Buongiorno for 2 months, putting in Juan Jesus, making him look like a respectable center back. A lot of these things happened and worked against us, and yet we're still here. How's it going, brother? Yet we're still
What's
here.
Up, Coach?
So I feel that, I like to try my hardest to separate the fandom's side of me and the realistic side of me. Obviously, in my eyes, and I only speak for myself, not speaking for all Napoli fans here, I'm just speaking for myself. Would I love to win the Scudetto? Definitely. But if we come in 2nd place with a couple of points behind Inter, I mean, it also depends on these next 7 games, how we play. If we fight to the finish, and we put up a fight and we look good out there, continue doing what we just did against Empoli, and Inter wins out all their games, how could you say it's a failure? We tried our best. So, I mean, that's my take. The winter transfer season, I would say, was most definitely disappointing, but I don't agree with the summer transfer window. I think we signed very important players. We replaced Kim finally with Buongiorno.
Yeah.
We got Billy Gilmore. Make preps for that kid, because that kid's going to be a beast. Thank you, Premier League, for that, by the way. Tom McTominay.
Beast. Big fan of him. Big fan of his.
I just need the guy to score, because, he's not as crafty as like Zelensky. He's not a Zelensky. He's never going to give you that output. But if he could score the way he's scoring, and then the guy breaks up build-ups from the opponents too. He does a good job off the ball. So McTominay, I mean, Neres was a good pickup too. So we did make some good improvements, but yeah, that winter transfer window was a disappointment. But then I have my reasons for that as well. A lot of these players are overpriced. Garnacho for $75 million. Garnacho.
Yeah, no way.
Like this guy, the last 3 months, this guy has done nothing.
Last 3 months, the last 3 years, he's done nothing.
Yeah. But I'm going off of since we were rumored to pick him up and when we were supposed to pick him up, and then what has he done since we missed that amazing signing, that amazing player? Nada, nothing.
Yeah.
So, I think that's about it. Thank you for not asking me my prediction.
No. We'll get
about
there.
who's winning
We'll
this
get there.
season.
We'll get there. But no, and I think, when I spoke about the summer, I think it's more so the Osimhen saga, right? Because it came to an underwhelming conclusion, and you didn't really get the money for him, or who knows what's going to happen going forward. But tough player to replace. And we were talking about it before we hopped on. You can jump in right now. I know Steve's going to be impressed with when he hears these numbers. Talk about Lukaku, right? Because Lukaku's a guy. You hear nothing but jokes about him, right? We joked about him when he was on Inter. We joked about him when he was on Roma. We joked about him at Chelsea, at Man United. He's getting up there. He's been around it feels like he's been around for 30 years. I don't know. He's what, 31, 32? Like, he's not even really that old for how long he's been playing. Talk about what he's meant to the team. I mean, I know Steve's a fan. He did well for Roma when he was over there. He's just a guy that kind of gets it done. So rattle off these stats for me, but he's been as good as advertised, I would say. I don't think you can expect much more.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, it was a hard adjustment going from Osimhen to Lukaku. We had Osimhen for like 3 seasons. We're used to that type of striker, fast paced, create something out of nothing. The quickness, all that stuff. And then looking at Lukaku, it was like, oh man. And then we thought we were going to get somewhat of a Lukaku from Inter, and he's not that. He just doesn't have that pace anymore. He doesn't have that quickness. But what Conte has managed to do with him, transform him into this assist machine. This guy's in double digits right now. He has 12 goals, 10 assists. He leads Serie A in assists right now. He's over Pulisic right now.
Crazy.
Which is insane. The last game, 2 assists to McTominay. I mean, and one of these assists was a cross.
So he's got more assists than Leao? Is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Ooh, crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, we got to give Leao a little break. He's on this Milan squad that they're going through some rough times right now. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, Lukaku is just like Conte knew what he was getting when he got Lukaku. He's like, this is not the Lukaku I had at Inter, but I'm going to do something with it. And the way we all know his hold-up play is insane. Like, if he had 2 competent wingers, forget about it, man. Yeah. I mean, and that's hopefully what we get this summer. So, yeah, I mean, and another crazy statistic, and don't hold me to this, but when Lukaku scores, we win that game. It's like an 100%,
no shit,
or close to it. Okay. So if he could score, then if he could score for the remaining part of the season, then our chances are going to only increase, obviously, because if your striker's not scoring, then you have to look for other places to score, and we're kind of limited when it comes to that. So yeah, Lukaku has been a big deal for us this season.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, on Roma, he didn't put up those assist numbers, but the hold-up play and his ability to distribute off the hold-up play is big, right? And that's what he contributes. I know Nick made him the butt of many jokes last season, but yeah, I mean, the guy consistently does it. And John, I can confirm, I did look it up. He is still currently 31. He'll turn 32 this year, but he is still 31. John was in disbelief there. Yeah, I think the problem with Lukaku, at least for Roma, was just the price tag was too high at the time for what he, the age and the contract situation with Chelsea and all that. Otherwise, they would have been happy to have him back. And now Napoli's benefiting from it. I missed most of the conversation. Obviously, I jumped in late.
So we were
2 kids, 3 and under is a bit of a shit show now.
Hey, but appreciate you still hopping on.
Yeah, I mean, Napoli is, Conte with 1 match a week to game plan for. We've seen it through the years is a problem for the league, and Inter's gonna have to deal with a semifinal in the Coppa Italia, now 2 legs in the Champions League, which is great for them because they're still on track for possibly 3 trophies. But at the same time, Scotty and I looked at Napoli's schedule last week. It is one of the softer schedules of the top teams down the stretch, and that's going to play into their hands. I mean, Inter this week has Bologna, next week Roma, teams that are fighting for European places. Yeah. So those kind of things play into Napoli's favor. I'm not saying Napoli will get it done or won't get it done. And I agree with what Dom said, right? If you finish second, a handful of points behind Inter, coming off of the season they had last season with so much turnover, to me, I'd take that in a heartbeat if that was Roma. I'm sure Nick would do the same if it was Lazio, right?
No doubt.
I think, and Napoli fans before 2 years ago would have taken that in a heartbeat, right? And things maybe change a little bit after the Scudetto, maybe expectations, but I think it's been an outstanding season for them.
And here's the thing that we got to shout out as well. I know we're talking Napoli, but Inter, we just spoke about how well they've done in the Champions League. It's almost a little bit overlooked how good they've been in Serie A. This is a team that's only lost 3 games. This is a team with a 41 goal differential. That's 15 more in the plus category than Napoli. So the fact that Napoli is only 3 points behind, and according to coach, already played the harder part of their schedule, that's pretty damn impressive.
You know what? You know why that is, right? The huge goal differential and how we're so close because of our defense.
Yep.
We have the best defense in the league right now.
Yeah,
25 conceded.
25 conceded.
Matches,
yeah, it's unbelievable.
And brother, do I have to name out my center backs to you guys? You know, when Buongiorno went down, we had Juan Jesus and Ramani, bro. And them, when they were playing last season together, we finished 10th. You know what I'm saying? That's we were conceding crazy. And this is why Conte, dude, like, you know, when they say, oh, Conte's not working miracles, because this is basically the same Scudetto team that you guys had when you won the Scudetto. That is nonsense, and that is a lazy take.
Yeah.
That is so lazy. Like, this squad is nothing compared to the Scudetto squad. And
yeah.
How many goals does Inter have again?
Inter has 72 goals for.
And how many we have?
51. Right.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna bring back what I said earlier in the episode.
I heard the name Juan Jesus. It still boggles my mind how he's become such an important player for Napoli, because all I did was trash him at Roma. He did play in that Champions League year when we made the semifinals, but like, it still boggles my mind how he's had such a career at Napoli and been a part of a Scudetto team. Because I did not rate him at all.
A little change of scenery, man. Do you right?
Yeah.
And Spina's doing pretty good for us too.
Yeah, I like Spinazzola. I would have liked to keep him. Injuries are his biggest issue.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, said it earlier. I'm going to say it in a different context. Classics are a classic for a reason, right? You know what you're getting from Conte. It's like Roma right now. You know what you're getting from Ranieri. A little bit of stability goes a long way, and that's not what I mean. Inter as well with Inzaghi. It's the difference maker. You're looking at, a Juve team that's on their second coach. You're looking at a Bologna and a Lazio with brand new coaches to start the year. Fiorentina with new coaches to start the year. Milan on their second coach of the season. I mean, the proof is there. You're right. You mentioned it. Conte. I don't remember if we talked about it before the year or not in our preview, Steve. But like, in our mind, like a manager like Conte, he's worth 9-12 points over the course of a season. And that's kind of what you're seeing.
Younger,
right?
up and coming coaches, yeah, for sure. Compared to Palladino with Fiorentina or some of these other guys that, De Rossi.
Bad example longer, because look at Monza. Monza lost like 40 points without Palladino.
Maybe not the best example, but try to think of who off the top of my head. I mean, I can't really fault Baroni too much with you guys. He had a pretty good year, but yeah, no, I agree. I think he's worth at least a few wins a season, right? Just from the experience standpoint.
All right.
I mean, he's pretty much worth. How many points we have right now?
68.
Yeah, he's pretty much worth like 20 something points. Because we ended the season with like 40 something. So it's crazy, man. It just amazes me. The only bad thing about Conte, we all know, is in Europe, in the Champions League, he's not.
Hey,
not the best.
And when you got a volatile owner, how long does the marriage last?
Yeah,
we're gonna see this transfer window. This is if Conte stays, right, which the reports are saying that he most likely will. We're gonna see how this marriage goes in this transfer window. Like, bank accounts must be opened. If you got to dig into the treasury over there, you better you better dig in, because competing in 3 competitions, Conte's gonna want solid players.
Yeah, he's gonna want players.
Johnny's got it, man. Here for a good time. Come in, win a trophy. You win a trophy, Napoli fans won't care how long you stayed or not, right? I mean, obviously you want the guy to stay forever, but come in and win a Scudetto, that it's worth, forever and ever of goodwill.
If he wins us a Scudetto and he bounces, thank you. If he doesn't win the Scudetto and he still leaves, then I don't know if I'm getting off topic here, but I would love to go for Italiano off the bat.
He's proved to be quite the coach. I know Nick, not the highest on him last year, right? And
no, never.
I'm
dead wrong this year.
Yeah.
I have to be the first to admit it. I trash him a lot because I think his style is overhyped and overrated, and Fiorentina never really won anything. But look at what he's doing with this Bologna squad, bro. It shows that, first of all, that team makeup was not a fluke, right? Everybody was gassed on Thiago Motta last year. The record's actually pretty similar. They draw a lot of games, but they don't get beat. They only have 5 losses in 32 games, but Italiano's getting a lot.
Lost key players.
That's the point, man.
Yeah.
They lost, listen, I'm not a huge Xerxes guy, but they lost him. That's a big loss. You lost Calafiori. That's a big loss. Ferguson was hurt most of the year.
Yep.
A lot of the other guys have been dealing with injuries on and off. You have to give them credit. I never in a million years thought they'd be fighting for 4th, 5th place. So full credit to him. Dom, that's not a bad shout, dude. That's a guy that just needs, imagine what he could do on a team that actually spends a little bit of money. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, like this Bologna side, it's like what he's done with it, like everything you guys mentioned, it's been pretty incredible. I think they're a better team than what Botta had. Like performance wise, I think they're a lot stronger. They build from the back. They could score on you. Their midfield could hold up. They could fight anyone. But if I see it hard if we have 150 million to 200 million ready to go, I see it hard for Conte leaving. Looking at the other projects that are around Juventus, like they don't even know if they're going to win make it to the Champions League. Milan already looking elsewhere. It seems that they're going to get Allegri, or they're looking that way. Reports say that Conte wants to stay at Napoli, but like I said, if he was to go, and ADL loves Italiano, bro. He's been rating Italiano since for 5 seasons, 6.
Oh no shit.
5 seasons right now. Yeah, he wanted to get him, and I think that would definitely be the guy to go for.
It's a good shout. Coach, who do you want your team to go for? Now we're talking about coaches.
I see so many names linked that I can't even tell you who is like the likely candidate, but I think a guy like Italiano is a great shout. Like that's a guy who's now proven it with 2 teams in this league that he can do it. Comes to Roma or a Napoli, gets a bigger budget, probably gets a little more talent on his side. I would like to see a coach like that. Who knows? They've been linked with so many guys. I mean, I know the Ancelotti links always start to tune up every time,
especially after today.
Yeah, because of his Roma path. I don't think it happens, honestly. I think I don't know, unless he just wants like a homecoming, because that's where he played a lot of his career. But I don't even know where they're gonna go. I see Montella's name linked. I see Patrick Vieira. I see all kinds of names. So it's hard to even say where they would go. But I think Italiano's got to be like the hottest name this summer if a lot of big teams start looking for coaches again.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Not a bad shout. Hey, Nick was wrong.
Another guy. Nick was wrong.
That doesn't happen a lot when Nick admits he's wrong.
Hey, dude. If I'm wrong, listen. There's a difference between agenda that I could keep an agenda going forever. I'm not going to admit I like the guy, but
I know. I mean,
his performances, his record the last couple of years speaks for itself. He's a better coach than I ever gave him credit for. He's doing a fantastic job right now. So shout out to him.
So should we jump into Serie A first today since we have down?
Yeah. Let's rock.
So the big ones this weekend are obviously Bologna, Inter, and Milan, Atalanta in terms of table positioning. Lecce, Como to kick off the weekend. Lecce needs points. We'll see. Monza, Napoli, big spread for a reason. Same with Roma, Verona, Empoli, Venezia. So none of these games really jump out at you. I don't know if you want to say anything about any of these, Nick, before we get into the big ones.
No. Let's go to the big ones.
But Bologna hosting Inter. Bologna is plus 205 on the money line. Inter plus 130. Inter just came off that Champions League match today against Bayern. Positive result for them. They advance. But it is 90 more minutes on the legs, 90 more hard minutes on the legs where they had to hold out and avoid giving up a third goal. I mean, Bologna plus 120 on the draw, no bet. Not a bad number at home. I don't know if they get the win. They didn't look great against Atalanta last weekend, but
Inter, and that's the thing that
this is a tricky one for Inter.
Loop a little bit because Bologna were white hot, absolutely white hot, and Atalanta were in free fall. They had just lost 3 straight games, and the fact that they pitched a shutout against Bologna, it's screwing with my mentals a little bit here, man. I'm wondering if Bologna have it in them to bounce back. I do know that they're at home. Which is obviously good. You mentioned all the matches that Inter played, the matches they have ahead of them. Roma next week, Champions League in 2 weeks. This seems like a spot that Inter's going to be vulnerable. I mean, Bologna need points just as bad. If they're going to make top 4, you can't drop 3. You're not shipping this game one way or the other. It could be close, dude. I could see a draw
back in January.
I could see a draw. I really could. I'm interested to see what the lineup's going to look like for Inter. How much do they rotate? But Bologna's going to put out a strong squad, and they're not going to make it easy. So I could totally see Inter dropping points in this one.
Yep.
What do you think, Dom?
I mean, this is the time. This is the time to see if Inter has what it takes to win both the league and continue to go on and win trophies elsewhere, because they have Bologna, but then they have Milan as well, and then they have Roma. Like those are the three matches where we're gonna see how strong they are. And like you guys mentioned, they just played Bayern. Some of these players played more than they normally do in a match, and Bologna just fresh right now, man, and they just came off of they're coming off of a good stretch of games. So I got a draw.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you like a draw here, Nick, plus a quarter goal for Bologna is minus 125 right now.
Hell yeah.
So that gives you at least a half cash on a draw, because the draw no bet, obviously the number is good, but if you don't think Bologna's maybe going to get the win, but they could get a result here, the double chance is a little bit too juiced at minus 180, but here you go. Quarter goal, you get half your...
Hey, little 1-1 correct score, plus 4 hundo. I don't know. I would give it a shout. I think it'd be difficult for them to keep Inter off the score sheet for 90, but... Yeah, so Dom, you mentioned the fixture list. Is the Copa game this coming week, midweek?
I think it's this week, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
that's
their schedule's loaded, yeah. Yeah, the schedule's loaded.
That makes me like Bologna even more, quite honestly.
Yeah. And then they go straight into Roma.
Wow.
But they're playing at home against Roma, but still, Roma is no team to just be like, we could just put our
hottest team on the planet.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Roma, do me a favor, Roma. Roma, do me a favor, man. I know there's not too much love left between our clubs, but hey, do me a favor.
I don't know, man. I might like Bologna in this one. I think they get something out of it. I think the draw is a good shout by both you guys.
I think the draw is in play. I think the quarter goal is the way to go. I'm not going to say they come out here and win this match, but I also kind of like both teams to score if you think there's going to be a draw.
Yeah,
like you mentioned the 1-1. Like,
I do.
Maybe go for both teams to score. So if Inter does pull it out 2-1, you get something there, because I could see goals both ways, and that's at minus 120.
I like that.
The over is a plus money play. I'm not going to say it's an over match, but I do like the both teams to score minus 120.
You guys are speaking Chinese up there. I don't even know what's going on. It's plus the lower. Like,
trust in your boys.
It sounds like good stuff. So
trust in your boys.
All right. Easter Sunday, another good one here. I don't remember them playing much on Easter in the past. Usually they would do it all on the Saturday.
Everything was a Saturday, like like 12 o'clock game or some shit.
So now there's like 3 Saturday, 3 Sunday, then like 4 on Easter Monday, because that's a holiday in Italy. So people get to watch the matches when we're at work. But here we go with the other Sunday match on Easter. It's Milan hosting Atalanta. Atalanta coming off that huge win
I mean, they needed
against
that
Bologna.
more than anything.
Yeah, they needed it. It kind of took Bologna's, not out of the top 4 race, but it hurts.
Yeah.
And solidified Atalanta because they are now strongly favored by the books to finish in the top 4, which they were looking like most of the season. They get this Milan side that is kind of just hanging around the top 9, hoping to sneak into Europe because they're 3 off the 7th, 5 off the 6th. I mean, their best hope might be to win the Copa at this point. But it's at the San Siro. They're plus 140 at home. Atalanta plus 165 on the road. Draw no bets are both very playable at minus 125 for Milan, minus 110 for Atalanta. To me, what jumps out, Nick, is the Atalanta draw no bet.
Yep. That's exactly where I'm at. I don't think Milan deserves to be favored in any game at all. The way they've played, the results they have at home, away, doesn't matter. Looking ahead to Inter, that game will be way more important than this game. Maybe
Most
this is
Magnan.
And it's more important for Atalanta, right? They still need points. They can't punt that top 4. Like it's not a sure thing. So I think Atalanta, I like them to build on that win that they had against Bologna last week. I just think the circumstances are too big. I like Atalanta in this one, that minus 110. I'm with you.
Yeah. And John's saying the over, and I like the over with the both teams to score angle, minus 120, because I don't see either one pitching like a 3-0 shutout here. I mean, Atalanta could, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it happens at the San Siro. I think you get like a 2-1, 3-1 type match possibly. I do think there's goals.
We say it every week. I mean, Atalanta's just a better away team. They get the results they need away from home for whatever reason. They do the thing. So, Dom, let's pause there for. I mean, if you want to give thoughts on either of these two teams, just in general, and then your prediction for the match, what you think is going to happen.
We're talking about which ones?
Milan, Atalanta.
I'm gonna go with Atalanta all the way. I mean, Milan are so unpredictable that, and Atalanta, I'm not the Atalanta 3 months ago either, but. If I'm going to go squad against squad, I'm definitely taking Atalanta over Milan. 3 points.
All right.
Yeah. And then closing out the weekend, Nick.
Over under. Over under. Does that make sense?
I like it.
I'm trying to be cool like you guys, man. Over.
I like it. I like it.
Plus 120.
There you go. Jump in, my man. That's a natural.
Torino Udinese, both plus money in the money line in that one. Cagliari hosting Fiorentina, both plus money. That I think has a lot to do with Fiorentina playing tomorrow, Thursday. Conference League, which is why I don't trust them, even though it's a great number on them.
Same thing with Lazio.
Never easy to go to Sardinia. Same thing with Lazio. Genoa, Lazio, plus 115 for Lazio on the road. But again, playing Bodo tomorrow, they're going to need at least 3 goals to get through.
Not happening.
Yeah. Man. Bodo Glimt owning the city of Rome. I mean, Roma got some revenge, but the 6-1 will never be forgotten. So,
wait, man, big, ugly, disgusting game here. Parma, Juventus.
Yeah,
Juve
that closed out the weekend. What? Minus 135. Wow. Yeah. Are they really minus 135 at Parma?
Parma's drawn tricky. 6 straight games.
They're tricky.
6 straight draws.
I would love a draw here because if Juve drops some points and Roma wins, then they can creep back up to that top 4 race and keep my hopes alive a little bit. But man,
13 draws on the season. Juve has 14 draws on the season.
You know what's interesting about Parma? Their last 2 games and who they drew to.
Inter.
That comeback against Inter was nuts.
And then they drew to Fiorentina.
Yeah,
these are not
0-0, right?
Yeah, these are not no pushover clubs right now.
Yeah.
So I definitely have Inter taking that L this week. Taking that L. It's always a good day when it's always a good day when Inter drops some points. I'm just gonna say.
I don't know, man. Good for Parma, and they got themselves pretty much. I mean, not safe, but they made it out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, it was looking dicey for them for a while. Mm-hmm. So credit to them.
Fuck. Dom, I mean, talk a little shit about Juve, bro. We got you on. We can't waste this time that we have with you.
Man,
talk some shit about Juve.
Bro, Juventus look they look better than they looked under Mota, but I mean that doesn't say much. They look horrible. But it seems that they're still like trying to figure things out. And I'm looking at this Palma to Inter, you know, it's just I just see them. I see them. I see them winning this game. And what would be interesting is if they lose this game, top four, it's going to be looking less likely. Let's just say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Depending on what
they have a
happens with
good
these
shot
other
of making.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a good shot of making it. But if they lose this game, we obviously know that the percentages drop, and things are going to get a little bit more difficult for them. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I got them losing it.
I'd be fucking awesome. I would love for them to drop points. Even a draw would be lovely.
Yeah, would be awesome.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Any other thought? I mean, no, we covered a lot. Anything else that caught your eye this year in Serie A? Any players, teams, coaches, whatever you want to shout out? What are you looking forward to as the season comes to a close? And maybe let's give some. I mean, you told me you could separate your heart from your mind. Let's give a prediction on what's going to happen the rest of the way out.
Like top four.
You can go top four, sure. Let's hear it.
Let's play a fun game. Let's predict. I'm gonna go ahead and predict our last 7 game matches.
All right,
and then I'll make my prediction at the end. Let me go look at this up real quick.
Coach, how's your Roma ticket looking?
Not as good as it was 2 weeks ago, but
I shouldn't be doing this, by the way. This is something a Napoli fan should not be doing.
Hey, man, this is a betting and prediction show. You got to bring it.
Yeah, I got to get out of my comfort zone on this one, right? So I got Monza. We're gonna win that game. Torino's gonna be very. I think it's gonna be a little more tricky than what we think it's gonna be, but it's at home, so I got us winning that game. Lecce, believe it or not, away, kind of scares me a little bit. It kind of scares me a little bit. But I'm going to go with a win on that. Genoa, a win. And then guess what? We got to play Parma. Away. That match, I feel that could be this guy over here. I think Parma is going to be a difficult match, but I got us winning that one. And then I got us winning our last match too against Cagliari. So I got us winning out.
All right. I like it. What do we got with the Inter schedule here? You went through it already, Coach, last week or not?
I will pull it up real quick. Let's see. Inter.
This shit is so convoluted, bro.
So they've got Bologna this weekend that we talked about. Then they have the Copa semis against Milan midweek. Then they have Roma at home next weekend.
Brutal.
Barca away first leg of the Champions League. Hellas at home. Barca home. Torino away. Lazio home. And then Como away to close things out.
So if I'm looking at that, trying to be objective, and I'm very impressed with this Inter squad. We talked about them for most of the episode. Hellas Verona, that's 3 points. I don't really see a big issue there. Torino, I think the rest of the schedule, dude, there's no guaranteed 3 points in the rest of the schedule. Bologna,
only maybe Como at the end because Como's not going to have anything to play for by then. They're pretty safe at this point, but
they're still so dangerous. Como,
they score goals. They could be playing spoiler.
And if it comes down to the last weekend for the Scudetto, right, they could play spoiler. And teams love to play spoiler.
Right. To me, it's really going to hinge on what they do in these other competitions.
Yeah.
Because listen, everybody wants the Scudetto, but if you're Inter and you have a chance to win the Champions League, all your eggs got to go in that basket.
Yes.
You got to do it. And you're in the semis now. This is big boy stage now. You're one step away to getting to the final. You have to prioritize Champions League.
Yeah.
You feel me? You have to. I'm sorry, but you're 3 points ahead of the league as it is. So you risk the league by not going your strongest, and you prioritize for the Champions League with 3-point lead.
It's a dangerous game, like Roma had to do the past couple years with Europa League and the top four, right? And you prioritize one over the other. And Inter probably has more depth at this point, but they're playing for a tougher competition.
Napoli plus 200 to win the league, dude. Doesn't look that bad right now. I'm kind of with Johnny here in the chat.
It's hard to balance those two competitions and possibly also a Copa final coming up at the end of the season. So, yeah.
That's a brutal schedule.
Think about this. Even if they draw, right? Let's say one of these next matches, they draw. We win. We're 1 point behind.
Yeah.
1 point.
Yeah.
That's nothing. 1 point is nothing. That's like tie. In my eyes, that's like a tie, because if you get a positive result and they get another negative result, you jump them over.
Yeah.
So we're in striking distance.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at it. You got the right to dream.
Pressure. Yeah, they have pressure on them right now. Like, if I was an Inter fan right now, I'd be so stoked that I just won against Bayern and all this. But then I'm looking at my schedule. I'm looking back. I'm seeing Napoli, and I'm looking at my schedule, and I'm seeing all my workload, and I'm getting nervous. You know what I mean? I'm getting now. Inter have to switch back to reality. They're going back in the league against Bologna on the weekend. They're celebrating now, and I respect Inter squad. They know it. Inter fans know. I highly respect this team, what they built especially this season and last season, because they were even better last season.
Yeah,
but we're right there, brother. We're right there, striking distance, right behind you guys. So they better watch out.
And that's what I'm looking at. I mean, we said it. I'll say it again. You've already played Bologna twice. You've already played Roma. You've already played Lazio. Like, you went through the schedule already. They still got it. This next week, coming into tomorrow, it's going to tell me an awful lot about this Inter squad. If they come out and we're wrong and they take care of Bologna and they score 2 goals, and then I'm kind of like, all right, They obviously have what it takes. I'm not saying it's guaranteed that they're going to slip up or anything like that. They've been here before. They know what to do. But there's no cakewalk that I'm looking at in this schedule. Maybe against Hellas Verona. That's it. So you asked me whose position I'd rather be in. The answer is Napoli in the league.
Yeah,
talking about
in the league. Yeah, because you would love to be in the semis in the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge.
I'd love to be in the semis of the Coppa Italia. I don't know what the fuck anybody else is talking about. Let's be honest with each other here, boys. I want.
Hey, are you still celebrating? Are you still celebrating that knocking out Napoli in the Coppa this year? Are you still popping bottles at?
Got it right here, bro. Just cracked it.
Yeah, man. What a final stretch of the season this is going to be, because not only for us, right? Like the Scudetto race, but top 4.
Nuts.
There's teams battling, like Roma still has a shot.
Yep.
Lazio, if they could get their things together, they could slide in. Atalanta needs a hold. I mean, Juventus is right there. No one knows what the top 4 is going to be. You look at the other leagues, and everything's pretty much locked down for who's going to win that title in that domestic league.
Yeah.
Because this is 100%. the most exciting. This is the most exciting league in the world right now. In Europe, this is the most exciting league.
Year in and year out, brother. Year in and year out. Let's just be honest. But no, you hit the nail on the head, dude. The difference between 6th and 3rd is 5 points. 7th and 3rd is 6 points. 7 points. I don't know. Like, that's 2 results. That's 2 results.
Yeah.
And you got to flip flop.
One bad day. Your team has one bad day, or the team in front of your team has one bad day. Everything can change. It's an amazing thing to see. Amazing. This is the most exciting season that I've seen since I've been a Napoli fan. I really think so. Like the 12 years or for I don't know how many years it is now. This is the most exciting season for me, because there's a Scudetto race and there's a race for top 4. And the big clubs are not locked in it. You know what I mean? You don't have Milan locked in. You don't have Juventus locked in. You know, you have Atalanta, you have Bologna, you have Lazio creeping, you have Roma trying to get back in. It just makes everything a lot better that way. Because when you see the same teams making it every year, the same teams, it's kind of like, you know, gets boring, man, you know?
Yep.
So it's a good thing to see.
100%.
I need one of you guys to lock. I need one of you guys to bounce Juventus out of there.
Yeah, I'm doing my best, bro. We can't get out of our own way right now.
Make an alliance. I know you guys are rivals, but you know, make an alliance just for the grace of God.
I will root for Roma before I root for Juve, and I'm not afraid to say that. I know probably no other Lazio fan on the planet will ever say it, but
that's wild, huh? I mean, that hatred. I respect that hatred you guys got going on.
Man, dude, sorry, hold on. I'm looking at Juve. Kind of does have the head-to-head between Lazio and Juve is really going to tell a story. The Juve's got Parma, they've got Monza, Bologna, and Lazio back-to-back, but they finished with Udinese and Venezia. So we're going to need Bologna and Lazio really to take care of business against Juve. That's really the only fucking way.
But have you seen Bologna's schedule, bro? They got the worst schedule out of all of them, man.
Yeah.
Their schedule is
them and Roma have brutal schedules.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, Lazio and Roma need to turn too. You guys need to win out.
Yep.
Win out, and then those you guys are the only two teams that have a shot at that fourth spot, in my opinion. Because I see Bologna, I see Bologna slipping. I don't see them. I don't see them getting into top four, and I don't even see them holding the Europa spot or conference. I got them dropped to where Roma's at right now at the end of the season, because they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but their schedule is just insane, man.
Yeah,
it's just insane.
Fair enough. Coach, any other thoughts? What do you think here?
No, I think it's we'll see. It's going to be tough. I mean, there's going to be a lot of, I think, ebb and flow in the top four race, but I think Bologna and Roma have the toughest schedules. That's going to work against them. These back-to-back draws for Roma hurt. Juve and Lazio head-to-head both times. Look, they didn't lose, but they didn't win. So when you're the team chasing, you need to seal a game for one of those matches, and they weren't able to do it. Came back in both of them, which was good.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Let's see if I can get your thoughts, because I haven't spoken to you. We haven't been on the show since it happened. Would you agree Lazio outplayed Roma in the derby?
Yes. So
it's a good result then.
Oh yeah. Based on the way the game played out, it's a good result for Roma because Roma did not play that well. Zvilar bailed them out multiple times, and Sule's goal was a wonder strike, right?
Yeah.
The one to hit that first time. Probably one of the top 5 goals of the season in the league.
I agree.
It's funny. I texted you like back when they played in January, Lazio was the informed team and Roma took it to them.
Yep.
And then you come here and Roma's coming in 9 matches unbeaten in the league, and Lazio's coming off a loss to Bodo, and they did have a big win against Atalanta, but before that they were kind of scuffling along, and they were the better team. That's why derbies are funny. It's always hard to predict. Look, we've seen with the Derby della Madonnina the last few years, right? Inter's been the better side, and then Milan's had better results a lot of the time. So it's hard to predict these matches.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone still had to explain to me how Milan has Inter's number this season. Someone needs to
not just this year, man. They head to head, they've had them like the last 5 years. I feel like.
Yeah.
No. Inter they have won the derby like they had won the derby like I don't know how many times straight. So Milan recently won it.
Now we got to go head to head here to see who's right.
Yeah, Inter has dominated Milan, bro. Dominated them. Now,
somebody who's a fan, correct me, man. I feel like Milan has been pretty decent.
Let's see.
You can look it up on.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
1-1 this year in the Coppa that just passed. 1-1 in Serie A. Super Coppa was Milan 3-2. Last season, Milan 2-1. Inter 2-1. Inter 5-1. The season before, then they had that Champions League 2-legger that Inter won.
Yeah, so I forgot about that. I will say I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and they've won like multiple derbies. Like they've won multiple derbies in a row. Inter has had Milan like the little bro for a while now. That's why Milan, their silverware that they're going to win this year is going to be we beat Inter in the derby. It's basically and the Super Copa, which all of a sudden that's a rated trophy for them. But before it was Mickey. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at Milan. I mean, last 4 games though, they haven't lost the last 4 that they've played Inter.
Who hasn't lost?
Milan hasn't lost in 4.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like now, Milan, like this year, has like found a way. Like these last couple of results, they found a way to beat Inter, and I want to understand how. Because Milan, they could do that, and then they could like drop points to like a lower table side, a lower club. You know, a club that's on the low end of the table. I just want to know why, how they do it.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's pretty crazy. It's a crazy thing.
Man, now you guys got me curious. I got to look at this Milan schedule to close out the year because, you know, talking about them all goddamn year. So they got Atalanta. Obviously, we talked about Venezia, Genoa, Bologna, Roma, Monza. It's going to be tough for them to creep back in. They obviously got to win out. I think that ship has sailed.
Oh, for Milan?
Yeah.
To make top 4?
To 5, 6. You know, make it
see,
decent.
Their best hope is to win the Copa to get the Europa League, I think.
Yeah.
To the Milan fans out there that enjoyed Napoli's downfall last season, karma. Hope you enjoy your spot this year. Had to throw that out there, brother. I hope they'll watch. I hope they just won. I hope one of them is watching. They can just tell all their friends.
Our boy Johnny is here in the chat, bro. Faithful, my man, watches every show. We appreciate you, brother. Milan fan here. Good dude for sure.
No. I mean, the reason why, like, you know, I liked Milan before, man. I really did. And then, like, when our Scudetto year, you know, something happened, man. Like, they all of a sudden there was this like this rivalry. Just for that year, because you know they bounced us out of the Champions League, and we took their chances of getting that 20th Scudetti, and then we was just back and forth on Twitter, and it was just, and then we had a horrific season last year, and they were just on us on Twitter. They were just like, I was like, bro, what's going on here? So now, you know, Juventus is always going to be here, top of my list when it comes to most disliked club. But Milan are strong second now.
They're climbing their ranks.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, boys. Well, I think that's been a fun show, a good time. Dom, absolutely appreciate you hopping on with us, bro. Giving your insight, your thoughts on Napoli. Wishing you the best, dude. From here on out, good luck the rest of the season. I know you got your Twitter handle there on the screen, but for anybody that's listening, just let people know, you know, who you are, what you're about, where they can find you, what's going on.
Well, you guys already know, Napoli fan, also Yankees fan, by the way, and Knicks fan, Giants fan. I'm going through some misery on the other sides, but hey, follow me on Twitter. We love the banter. I'm always engaging on jokes and banter, you know. And
sure.
If you want a good laugh, especially if it's a laugh on Juventus, give me a follow.
There's no doubt about that. I can vouch for you 1,000%. It's a pleasure. Again, though, you know, it's I have the pleasure, you know, of calling you a friend, knowing you in person. The jokes. I don't want people to overlook the knowledge you have about this game because of the jokes, because that I could see that happen very easily. Because we keep it lighthearted. We're always out here. You're crushing people left and right. But if you listen to the show, you know why we got Dom on here. The man studies the game. Huge Napoli fan. We wishing you guys luck and appreciate having you on, brother. Thank you for joining us and making some time tonight.
Thank you guys for having me.
Coach, you're the man. Thanks for showing up late.
Yeah, trying here.
Appreciate you. See you guys next week.
All right.